the Monastery. Okay, so this is a little bit different from some of the other building sets in the fantasy range, in so much it doesn't make a specific building. It's a modular system that you can just build any kind of shapes of ruins that you want, depending on what you want your buildings to look like. So for example, you know, you've got this one here, which has just been randomly put together. We use this for the promotional pictures, for example, but you don't have to build it like this. Okay, and here's another piece as well, just to show you've got these different shapes and you can put some levels on and so on and so forth. And you really can do quite a lot. If I grab this, another piece, and all this is done with just one set. You know, this is more of a single level bit of ruin that you can put down, you know, you can make little corner pieces like this as well. So it's really not a specific build that I need to show you. You just have to have fun and you know, and you just make up whatever it is you want to do. There are a couple of pieces that are kind of unique. This little turret piece on the corner, and these struts. So I will show you how to assemble those and generally how to assemble the walls. But yeah, we'll leave it up to you to just have fun and make whatever shapes it is that you need to make. So in the set, we have got these 3 different types of sheet. We have got one of 3, of which there's 3 of these. And these have got your struts on, and your turret pieces, etc. And a couple of ruined walls. You've then got this one here, which has got some flat areas and some more walls on it, some flooring areas, should I say, and some more walls on it. And you get 2 of those. And then you have this sheet here. There's only one of this sheet, and it's got a unique kind of large double window on it, and it's got the large double door and the broken door, and a big strut and a couple of other bits and pieces. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm probably going to go to this sheet, which has got 3 things on that there's 3 of, and I'm going to show you how to put together this little corner piece here. Which is kind of like a ruined turret, if you like. So on here, on one of the sheets, I'll pop off the parts of one of these ruined turrets, and it's labelled for you. It's also important to note that on this sheet, in some of the parts where I've taken this part of the ruined turret out, there's kind of like a negative shape of this as well. This is actually another ruined part that you can use to kind of pop on the top of your buildings to give it a kind of a little bit. So over here, you can add little extra pieces just on the top, so that everything's not so flat and it looks a little bit more ruined. So make sure you keep all of the bits and pieces that you're not directly using when you're popping it out. Okay, so this has got some little windows in it as well. I'll pop those out. You can leave the windows in, they're completely textured. Personally, I think dropping the windows out, it makes it look more ruined. And I think just generally, windows that are popped out look a lot more 3D than if you leave them in completely flat. So these are the parts for your turret. And then all you're going to do is you've got some half cuts on here. So you're going to bend this round. Like that, with this kind of shape. And then here you'll see that you've got some slots here, one on the top and one on the bottom. Otherwise, these otherwise look very similar. They're slightly different. They're cut slightly different, but they look very similar. And you make this little X here, and then you want to slot this in to these kind of little slots here, making sure that we want this bit here where there's like a clip. Now you don't actually need a clip to actually be put into here, but what you do want to do, but later on you might have a build where you want like a little bit of a kind of a turret connected onto some walls or something, or like a large turret. You can actually then use clips on this to make that. But when you're assembling this little side corner ruin turret, you don't need any clip in there, and so you're going to keep that in the back. And you're going to kind of just slot this in. So I'll do that. And there you go. Here's your little turret. And if you've got a bit that's sticking out like that, you just bend it in until it kind of sits flush, and that's your corner turret. And you can see on this one over here that what I've actually done in this particular build, I've ended up putting 2 turrets, one on top of the other. And so on this build, I've actually, on the lower one, so I don't get a repeating sort of ruined bit down here, I've kind of built it so that the ruined bit is on the inside. And that way it doesn't look repetitive at all. So you can stack these up. There's 3 of these in here, so technically you can have a very tall one of these. And of course here you've got the bits on the clips, and you can just build on the rest of your ruinedness. So that's a very unique part that you've got. There's 3 of those, so you'd build those up. What next? So next, what we'll do, we'll have a look at this large strut here. So we'll pop the pieces off for that. It's basically called a balustrade. Okay, so here's the parts of the balustrade. It's very simple. It is just, one straight part here. You've got the wings for this little eagle-y thing down here, and a little book that it kind of holds in its claws. Then you've got this little part here. On the back, you've got a load of half cuts. And with this, really, you don't really want to particularly put any bends into this. What you want to do is you just want to slot it into the top like that. Okay, and then once it's in place, just kind of bend it, because you don't want to overbend that. And then it should sit there quite comfortably like that. Wings on the top. And little book in here, and that makes your strut. And here I've assembled this one with the a couple of struts either side of the big door, and I think that looks nice and grandiose, as it were, which is really kind of pretty cool. Again, there's 3 of those per set, so you've got a few areas that you can put those around. What else have we got? On this unique sheet here, you can see that we've actually got that big double door. And some of these parts, like this double door and like this strut, they're kind of 2-leveled. They're twice the height of a normal wall. If I pop off a normal wall here, you can see they're like twice the height, because they're designed to be part of those bigger structures. And you can see you've got this kind of like double area here, double clip area here. Same as these struts, you've got this double clip area. So when you're clipping things together, that's how you'd do it. You'd have like a T-clip in here, or an X-clip if you're going this way and this way. And then you can build out in all sorts of different cool and crazy directions, as it were. You'll notice that with some of them. The rest of these walls, you can see here you've got like a ruined version of this door on here, which is pretty cool. And the only other really unique wall that we've got is this one here, again on this sheet 3 of 3, and it's this large window. Now with this large window, you can use this in a couple of different ways. So you can, if you put it together, it kind of acts like one of these larger kind of constructs, if you like. And so if you pop out the window here and here, and that gets clipped together, you can see it makes this very tall, grand window. And we've got one set up over here like that, and you can see it's got this nice, tall, grand window look. But I didn't want to make this one static like that as a single piece. So I made it into 2 pieces. So it can be put together this way, but also you can assemble it this way as well. So it gives you more modular options. This could be a little archway door. This could just be part of a broken window. You can have it any way you want. So it's entirely up to you how you do that. If I just pick a wall in general, let's see if we can find one of these. I mean, this is a wall that I popped off, one of the walls, and you'll see it's got some areas on it like this that allows you to pop out some ruined parts. You can choose to leave those in, or you can choose to have those out. It depends how ruined you want a particular wall to look. But certainly don't throw these little bits away, because you can scatter them inside around into the corners, and it just looks like more brick and stone rubble, which again on the battlefield adds a lot of extra cool kind of effects, as it were. If I pop out some more walls, just as a sample of walls, what you will notice here is that there's really not many of the full-sized, these have got some ruined bits in it, but there's not many of the actual full-sized walls. There's a couple here which have got some push-out bits, which so that they look a little bit more ruined, and you've got some beam work in there, but mostly these walls are not utilised. But you will find a lot of other walls which are these kind of walls here, which have got your ruined parts, and that really does make up quite a large bulk of your ruins. When you're putting ruins together, often there's, on this one, for example, apart from these turrets at the side, ruined turrets, and this big wall here, there really isn't any that I can see normal full walls in this build at all. It's really just then made up of all the little ruined parts at the side, and so the complete walls really, there's not a great deal in there because they're just not needed. Sorry, these ones over here. So that we've got a few little half walls and we've got some full walls, but not too many. That's exactly what you want with a ruin set. While I've got this wall here as well, I'm just going to pop out and show you these little windows here. These are some of the thinnest cuts we've ever done. The only time we've ever done thin cuts here before is on our Gothic crawler set. And our Gothic ruins as well, I guess. So just be really careful when you are popping out these little bits of the windows so that you don't damage anything. Now, I guess the beauty of it is if you did damage one, kind of doesn't matter because it's going to look like ruins anyway. But if you're really worried and you don't like like mini tears or anything like that, then what you want to do, you can always just like run a little craft knife before you pop this out. Run a little craft knife down there just to ease those out. But yeah, popping these windows out does really kind of give the monastery a much more 3D look, which is fantastic. And I like to keep all these little windows. You never know if you want. I put them in a little baggie or something. You never know if you want to kind of be able to use those again. Okay. And as we go through the sheets, you'll see here there's various different sort of like ruined parts, and that's the real trick of the ruined set, is that it's these ruined ends that you kind of finish with, and you get some large ruined ends, and you can get some smaller ruined ends like over here. And the trick is kind of when you're making a build is kind of to use the right combination so that you get like that kind of cascading kind of mismatched kind of look on your build, as it were, which is again really cool. And again, where possible, you need to pop these little windows out in here so that you get the most 3D look possible. And the little bits at the top as well. I forgot about the little bits at the top. You've got them at the top of here as well. Let's pop those out. There you go, even better, So you pop all those little bits and pieces out as well. That's really cool. So what else have we got on here that I might need to kind of just demonstrate or show you? Probably not. You just really need to have fun. I guess I should talk about the floors very briefly. Okay, so these can be used as floors, or they can be used as upper levels as well. If you're using them for upper levels, there's a couple of ways you can do it. On these builds here, you see I've literally just put it in a corner, and you'll see that on these floors there's a kind of a shape to them in the corner. That's so that if you happen to be using a turret as well, that it goes around there, especially if you're going to put it down at a lower level. So that's really cool. Also with these floors, as assembled on the sheets, sometimes you might want to do a build where you've got like a double floor, and you'll have a section like this. So when doing it like that, make sure that you slot this little jigsaw piece in, and then that will allow you to slot that into an exact shape, because this then measures up from a wall point of view, this then measures up to exactly the right size, as it were. But when not used like that, it sticks out a little bit, just makes the floor a little bit more interesting and a little bit bigger. And you've got some push out parts here which you can leave in or take out depending on how ruined you want it to actually look. So the floors are really cool. I think the only other thing is just to mention, with the floors as well, you might be using them up the top, but you also then might have the option to say, well, actually I want, one of these down in here as well, and you can have them at the floor, or you can have it coming through the door or something like that. A bit like the floor tiles in your normal houses, you lay those down last of all if you want kind of like a battle area that you want some kind of flagstones on or something like that. So that's really cool. I think the last thing that you want to be able to look at on here, there's plenty of, you don't get furniture with this particular one, so there's no furniture scatter to put together that I need to show you, but there is plenty of scatter on here. So we've got things like rubble and bits of scattered wood, and you just scatter them through. Once you've got your build and it's on the table, keep these in a baggie when you're not using them, and then you pile all these little stones around, and it really does bring it to life. So you've got lots of little bits of scatter. You will notice also that along your sheets you've got these kind of long bits here that are called steps. So if I pop those out, and basically with these what you want to do is you would basically just pop a little bit of glue on here, and on here, going up like that, and that will make a nice little step that you can put in front of your main door. So I'll just do that quickly. So I reckon that was less than 30 seconds, and that means that when you actually have a build and you've got it set up, it reduces the lip here, which is needed to support this larger wall, and you get that nice little kind of step up, and you can put some of the extra bits of steps and rubble around here as well to really kind of just bring that all to life. Let's grab some rubbly bits. And once you're set up on the battlefield, it's this kind of stuff that once it's all in place really kind of brings everything to life really, really nicely. So that's basically the kind of that's the monastery. As far as there's no, like I say, there's no particular build that you're supposed to do with this particular one. So just have fun with it. Like I say, I've got a double door here, a couple of struts. I've got all these little bits on top to make it look really, really cool. If you look on the inside, when I've been putting this together, I've left some areas where there's like a T-clip, or in fact that's a cross clip here, so I can have a little bit of a broken door coming through, and I put some stuff here, so I've got this nice big long strut here, which also helps support this upper floor a little bit. Let me have a look at one of my other pieces. This one, for example, with a big window in it, again with a strut, nice little angle on here, which is kind of cool. This always looks very, very good. And again, I've kind of got this angle here. So once I've got this build, I've got this piece coming out here, and then a bit of a first level floor, and another little bit coming out here, and another little bit coming out here. And that's what really kind of makes it ruined, and it allows you to kind of, place these bits together to create your kind of ruined area, and you can have a nice really cool sort of game inside that. You've got, I've still got, this is all done with the same set, I've still got some more ruins over here, so you can really kind of, I haven't really got the room here, but you can really kind of start to make your ruined area really quite big, and put some bits and pieces in here, and you've really got a nice big area on your battlefield or your skirmish to allow you to really kind of have some good gaming area, but some great scenery as well at the same time. So that's your ruined monastery. Lots of different pieces, lots of gaming area, lots of fun to be had with all of this. You just got to experiment and make any kind of ruins that you like.